All right, y'all. We are back for the sports section, which has always been one of my favorite sections. For a lot of people that do know me personally, it's actually one of my dream jobs is to be a sports commentator. At some point in my life, either a sports analyst or a sports commentator. Everybody always says, you have a radio voice. You have a radio voice. So I'm just utilizing that talent. I'm just using it for this podcast once again to bring positive reviews about certain teams, certain players. Once again, just to give people that respect that they deserve. With that, but it's March, and there's a lot of madness that's about to happen.
That's very true,
and we get to play a part in that madness as fans. So, just full disclaimer: I do work for a university, so I have to stay away from betting on college sports. But I'm definitely going to talk about it because I do love college basketball and everything. So, aside from betting, I do want to give a little bit of just my advice on who I think is going to run deep in the tournament. And everything, and who's going to, run deep in the SEC tournament, which I think is going to be the biggest conference championships that we do have when it comes to all of the different conferences. And it's right down the street at Bridgestone Arena. I'm trying to get a ticket to one of the games because they start up, I believe, tomorrow. I think they may have started up today, actually. But Tennessee plays on Friday, and Kentucky plays on Friday. I think they're going to meet each other at some point and play each other again anyway. But Tennessee, you beat Bama. You beat South Carolina. And then you lose to Kentucky at home. So you already know they're going to be coming in hungry. They're already going to be coming in just with their head on fire. They're going to be trying to dominate every team that they encounter. And it's the SEC, so it's going to be a good matchup regardless of that. I will say that Tennessee, especially with Connect, putting up 40 points a game. He's literally giving 40 pieces a game with that. So I will say that they'll probably make a deep run because they're more of a mature, complete team than they have been the past couple of years. I will also say that I think North Carolina is going to make a deep run, not only in their conference championships, but also in the big dance. With that, I think that also they're one of those teams that are relentless when it comes to home court and away court, and you sweep Duke. You swept Duke basically throughout this entire season. You go and play in Cameron, you beat them. You beat them also in your home court. North Carolina is always one of those teams to pick as a favorite. But I have a feeling about them this year. I feel a little bit more confident about Carolina. So those are my two teams. Tennessee, just because they've been playing unbelievable lately. Carolina, just because they're always dominant when it comes to that. So you got any picks or anything about how you may make a deep run or anything?
Absolutely, man. What a time. March Madness.
What is
just around the corner.
As a sports fan.
Probably one of the best times on watching any type of sports right now. Definitely my favorite time, for sure.
Which we will miss you, Derrick Henry, by the way. You're my favorite player for the Titans. Nothing against the Ravens, but we will miss you in Tennessee. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good, man. I'm glad you touched upon ACC and SEC. One of my teams that I have a favorite to win the SEC, I think I'm going to go with Auburn. Auburn is Auburn's a team that I think they're going to make a nice run in the SEC.
Okay.
I will say a sleeper is Kentucky. Kentucky, when they get on fire, they get on fire. We definitely saw that when the matchup that they played against Tennessee. Reed Shepherd, he is an animal.
Yeah, and I know that my family didn't like seeing it at all because most of them went to Tennessee and we're watching that game and. Tennessee, Kentucky, always, when they play, it's going to be – that's why rivalries should always still matter, regardless of if teams change their conferences, yada, yada. Duke and North Carolina is always going to be big. Kentucky, Tennessee is always going to be big with that because and Tennessee is also getting really good at basketball to where Kentucky's always been the good team. So it's good to see, an even matchup now. And they're going to meet, once again, in the SEC tournament, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Unless one of them gets put out early. But, definitely I could see that Auburn is an interesting one. For sure. Auburn, you do not want to play them usually at home. Bruce Pearl is a character at that. So, but that's what you want to have, as a coach in the locker room. But yeah, do you have any other possible conference championships or any other teams outside of the SEC that you may be keeping an eye on?
Yeah. So for ACC, I think North Carolina is definitely been playing really, really good basketball right now.
Okay.
Very, very strong opponent. A sleeper for the ACC to keep eyes on is Clemson. Clemson's another team that could shoot the ball and have really good defense. So keep eyes on Clemson, but I think North Carolina's going to take it all the way. So
Carolina, and I mean, of course, we always got to watch out for Duke. With that, nobody's talking about Duke right now because they lost to Carolina, and that's usually when they start snapping. So, but yeah, so we're going to go right now a little bit into the sports betting section of this because we always want to make people some money, regardless. I don't make a lot of money. Usually, my money gets taken by Vegas a lot, or I make a donation to Vegas basically every time I bet. So you got any tips or anything? Maybe like any tips for like March Madness, NBA, soccer, like anything just off the top of your head?
Absolutely. There's plenty of money to be made.
Oh,
I will say.
Always.
I think one of the big steps I've been recommending to a lot of people is straight bets. Straight bets is just the way to go. I highly recommend on whatever bankroll you do or plan on just spending around this time period is betting at least 1% to 2% of your bankroll.
Yeah.
Just because of the factor longevity, long period of time that you can build up your capital. So definitely try to lean into more sports bets. I've been looking into a lot of mid-major teams this year just to see who could be that Cinderella for March Madness. And I got a couple teams that I could be could have or so. Didn't really do so well in March Madness last year, but
what you about to do? So you about to put us on to some teams right now?
Yeah, man. It's been interesting for sure. Obviously, we're finishing up the conference play right now, but one team I've been have my eyes on is I should say I wouldn't say they're a sleeper or anything like that, but I think Houston.
I do too.
Cougars is going to take all the way. They're fully from top to bottom of their lineup. They're just solid all around. Love their head coach. And I think they're going to make a really strong push to the national championship.
I think they're projected a 1 or 2 seed. Are supposed to be.
Yes.
Because they were, I think, the number 1 seed. Just number 1 when it comes to like AP and stuff like that with ranks.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. And then Cinderella, man. A Cinderella that I've been kind of keeping my eyes on is Oakland. Oakland University. They're in the 1 seed.
I think I just saw them on TV.
Yeah, so they got a few star players that's been coming around. So I think that's probably one of my Cinderellas that I'll probably lead upon.
I got you. So we're gonna now transfer over to the NBA, professional sports, because I know that it's the second half of the season. People are going to be getting their points. They're going to be getting their rebounds. They're going to be getting their assists. Do you have any favorite players that you bet for in the NBA? I know for me, it's usually SGA out of Oklahoma City. Man, usually gets you about 30 points a game. With that, Luka's always a favorite too for betting. Usually gets you about 30 points a game with that. So do you have any like favorite NBA players that's usually like a lock or usually somebody that's like, oh yeah, they're definitely going to get that?
I mean, you got to go with Luka. Luka is pretty much guaranteed double-double or triple-double every game. Can't remember the stats on how many triple doubles he's had. I know it's been a high number this year. SGA is another good player to bet on when it comes to points per game.
Yep.
He gives you a given 25 points a night.
Yep.
So I definitely kind of lean upon those two a lot when it comes to betting on NBA players. And I believe those two right there are in the leading for the MVP this year.
Yeah, and I would say this too. Jason Tatum usually gets you about 20 to 25 a game. Usually 25 is like a go-to for him. I think he's going to win MVP. I think he's like a sleeper to win the MVP. But I think the Celtics are going to win it all. Are going to win it all anyway. With that, I think they're just really, really good when it comes to their entire roster. With that, obviously Jaylen Brown can sometimes play out of his mind. They got Porzingis down low. That when he does play, he's unbelievable. With that, because I know that sometimes he has injuries. With that, Derek White, unreal. With that, so he's a great player that not a lot of people talk about. And then of course I got Drew Holiday, I believe now, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, they literally every single position is filled for the Celtics. They got a sign saying we're full. We don't even need any more players.
Yeah.
At that, so. That's just like something that's a really good team also to bet on. But I would say my three always are usually Tatum, SGA, and Luka when it comes to just points in general. Tatum's also really good for rebounds too with that. Tatum and LeBron are always really good for rebounds. But yeah, man. you have any more things that you want to say when it comes to sports? I know that this is pretty much going to be the end of the video, but there's a lot of big news in the NFL. We got a fellow Steelers fan actually right here. I'm a massive Titans fan. I'm in my sorrows right now with that. But yeah, man, I know that y'all had a lot of additions today. So what do you think, man?
Yeah,
Russ. And,
man. Started up yesterday. We've had I should say that really the past week or two, we've been making the moves, man. We don't really typically make moves for our GM. Omar has been opening it up, and I think him and Mr. Rooney is going to win this year. We free up our cap space, and was able to pick up Russell Wilson, which I'm very excited for.
Yeah, y'all quit hating on Russ. Come on now.
Very, very excited for. I think it was a perfect position for him out of any other 31 teams out there. I think he's not going to really sit back. I think he's going to go in and try to win that starting position. Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to motivate Kenny a lot this year and just kind of just improve with him himself. And then Patrick Queen. We need a linebacker.
Absolute dog.
I feel like it was a big pickup to improve our linebacker situation. We kind of dealt with a lot of injuries last year on the linebacker side. I think Patrick Queens could be a really good addition for our defense.
Oh, man. Me being a Titans fan, I was hoping that we would get Patrick Queen and everything. But I was pretty impressed, too, with the pickups that we got. I think Tony Pollard's going to be a solid pickup. I think Kenneth Murray is his name, if I'm not mistaken, our linebacker that we picked up. I believe also we have a lot of money still to spend in cap space. So Titans fans need to remember that. I know that we're sad about Derek leaving and everything, but Derek is his own man. He's done almost all you could for the Titans. I hope that we, do something ceremonial for him, in the next 2-3 years with that. We never wanted to see him leave, but it's the end of an era. I think that what the Titans are doing, I think that it's going to be very beneficial, to their future, the people that they are picking up. The real question is, if we do get either a wide receiver or if we either go for a left tackle in the draft, I think that we're going to have to go for a left tackle in the draft because we got a block for Will. Mm-hmm. But man, I like a Dunze. I would love to see them pick a Dunze. I think he's going to be an unbelievable player in the NFL. He already kind of has. He has the size and the tenacity, if that's the word, not the correct word for it. But he just seems like a player that's going to be or play a lot of years in the NFL. But yeah, do you maybe have any big things in the draft that the Steelers should get? Additions?
I'm kind of glad that we already kind of picked up on certain positions that we needed, right? So one thing that we need to improve on is our offensive line.
Okay.
Definitely need to improve our offensive line. I think that's who we're going to pick up or so in our first draft pick.
Got to for most teams.
100%. And then another position that we need to help is our secondary.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So we got a couple eyes on some players right now, who we can possibly pick up in the free agency. So we're really excited how everything's going to be playing out for us during free agency and also the draft as well. So
yeah.
I'm not really particularly sure on which player that we're pretty much eyeing on right now since everything's been pretty crazy right now. So, but I'm definitely excited to see what's to come.
Yeah, and the draft is really fun every year. I remember when it was in Nashville, we went almost every single night. And I don't even think we even paid attention to who the Titans picked that night. Which just shows how much fun we were having, in Nashville. But yeah, no, this is the end of the sports section. This is the end of the episode. We're gonna have an inspiration section, but I think I'm gonna save that for the next episode. I may do the next episode just as a personal, just me doing that, and we're gonna have more guest speakers on this season. We just kind of wanted to see how this would go. I think it went really good. Honestly, I think it went really well. So if you do have any recommendations, we are testing out these new mics. We try to be as if we're on ESPN or something with just the little mics on our shirts. But I am going to be investing in actually a really, really good mic, and Audio Technica next week. So, next episode, we will actually have a mic set up where I'll be talking and using through that. Yeah, I'm really excited for the future of the podcast. We got 5 more episodes this season, but, we were graced by the presence of Lorenzo Johnson this first episode. And, I know that a lot of y'all watching this probably already know Lorenzo pretty well. So this is obviously this is a pretty big deal whenever we do have friends on or family or anybody like that on the TV show. So, but yeah, my man, appreciate having you on.
Appreciate you for having me, man.
Yeah, we hope that y'all will stay with us for the rest of the season. But this is it. We'll see y'all later.
See y'all.